And I wish there were black jurors. And I'm gonna tell you why. I don't think it's because it's not because I think that they would probably have more compassion on him, but I think that this gives people another reason, right, to say that he didn't get a fair trial. It's another reason for them to say, oh, that is wrong. So if there's black jurors also on there, I don't care if it's predominantly black. I said our community.
Could you say it a little louder for the people? Could you say it a little bit louder for the people in the other time zone? Because I don't think they heard that. I might have to give you a big screen for that. Hold on. Say it again, brother.
In the last hour, a jury has been chosen to decide the closely watched murder trial of Karmelo Anthony.
More than 500 people were on the list of potential jurors, but the jury will not include anyone who is black, despite this case being racially charged. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now. Alex.
Hey guys, good evening. That's right. And I can tell you that a court spokesperson confirmed that there are indeed no black jurors on this panel. And I can tell you that before this jury panel was seated, the defense objected to 3 black women being struck by the prosecution. Now, the prosecution contended that it was due to the fact that the women were educators, noting that this incident happened at a school function with young students. The defense then pointed out that those were three of those were 100% of the available black jurors in what's called the strike zone, adding that the state struck all 3. The judge went out and reviewed their questionnaires and came back and said that the defense's challenge to the 3 jurors being dismissed was denied. The judge said the court found that the state had non-racial means to strike the jurors. Now, background: Karmelo Anthony, 17 at the time, is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf last year at a Frisco ISD track meet. Anthony was reportedly sitting under a tent for a school that he did not attend. Witnesses say the two got into an argument and Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. Police said that Anthony told them he acted in self-defense. Now, this case has become racially charged, fueled in large part by online speculation, rumors, and misinformation. On Wednesday, attorneys for both sides got an hour and 45 minutes to question the reduced poll of these potential jurors. They were questioned on their views on a variety of topics, including race, how they felt about serving on this case, and if they would hold it against the defendant if he chose not to testify on his own behalf. The defense also tried to gauge if the potential jurors would be uncomfortable giving Anthony a lower sentence if there is a guilty verdict. I talked to a jury consultant about the process so far.
It's an excellent team on both sides. I believe Bill Worski has, he's a veteran prosecutor. He's tried some very high-profile cases. And then Toby Shook has been both a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. And then Mike Howard is an excellent criminal defense attorney as well. And they, along with the DA, it's going to be a very well-tried case.
And I did speak with Allison Richardson before the jury was sat, so I did not have a chance to ask her about these late-breaking developments. Now, this high-profile case continues to draw supporters and spectators to the Collin County Courthouse. We saw another group of folks demonstrating at the entrance of the courthouse this afternoon. We expect that to continue throughout the trial, which the judge hopes to have wrapped up by the end of next week. And I can tell you that 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony was in court today for the proceedings. He was wearing a suit with a tie and a purple shirt, which is also the color many of his supporters have been wearing. He did take some notes during the proceedings. I can also tell you that there does appear to be some minorities on this jury panel. Again, however, none of them are African American. Opening statements begin tomorrow at 9 a.m. Back to you.
Okay, Alex Boyer in Frisco, thanks.
And a reminder, Fox 4 will bring you extensive coverage of the Karmelo Anthony trial. You can keep up with the latest court developments on fox4news.com.
We'll bring that back in. All right. Give me your thoughts, my friend. Give me your thoughts.
So it's complicated. And I wish there were black jurors. And I'm gonna tell you why. I don't think it's not because I think that they would probably have more compassion on him, but I think that this gives people another reason, right, to say that he didn't get a fair trial. It's another reason for them to say, oh, that is wrong. So if there's black jurors also on there, I don't care if it's predominantly black. The evidence is the evidence. And if
Correct.
he gets convicted under that, then nobody can say after that, oh, it's because he didn't have anybody there that was black and they didn't understand him. Like, I don't think that really matters. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the way that they're going to decide, obviously, they're going to want, as honest and truthful people as they can as jurors. And I think the idea and the hope is that they're not also going to be, part of Team Nick Fuentes or anything like that. So I don't think that in a normal case where we are in America is sensitive right now, because I think that we've done so much with wokeism that we have pushed some people the other way that they never thought that they felt those ways, but they come into their feelings. So I do wish that there were black people who were on the jury, just because I do think that he's wrong, and unfortunately he'll probably be convicted. But the truth of the matter is that we don't want it being because, oh, there was no black people on the jury. So that's my opinion with that.
No, I agree with you 100% that it gives fodder to the people that are just going to raise Cain no matter what. You already know, when you take your child to the grocery store, they're going to scream and kick and fuss when you go down the cereal aisle. Why hype them up on sugar before you go to the grocery store? Why do that? Why give them some other reason, another means by which to express their inability to control their emotions, which, by the way, I think is kind of crazy. But I think it's weird to push that and make the assumption that a person of less melanin, somebody who's not black, is not going to follow the law. Right. That's kind of you're saying, because a lot of people are saying, well, he's going to get an unfair trial because there's nobody black. So are you assuming that a black person is going to look at the evidence? And so we got, Rayshawn looking at the evidence, and then we got Jim Bob looking at the evidence, and they're going to come to a different conclusion just because they're black and white? Because I thought y'all didn't do that. Like, it does seem very inconsistent that, hey, we can't be inconsistent like this and say, well, Neeson is going to judge Jason differently than Jim Bob is going to judge Jason. Because Neeson and Jason are both highly melanated and Jim Bob is white. So the white man is going to look at the law differently than Neeson is. Based on what? Where are we getting it from?
No, I think the idea is, and what you're saying is absolutely right, but I think the idea is that they are hoping that they will have somebody on there that will go along with essentially tribalism, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, by us, for us, we're going to take care of our own. You know what I mean? And it's very ironic because our community as a whole, we don't be looking out for each other like that. So it's only when it comes. I said our community as a whole.
Could you say it a little louder for the people? Could you say it a little bit louder for the people in the other time zone? Because I don't think they heard that. I might have to give you a big screen for that. Hold on. Say it again, brother.
I said the community as a whole, we don't look out for each other like that. So the idea of looking out for each other, it only comes up when there's a white person on the other side of the aisle. All right. What about all the, it's common to say, but like nobody's making marches and making initiatives about what's going on in Chicago or not. I mean, I'm sure there's organizations, but they're not
like this.
Not like this. It's never like this. When have we seen a case of when somebody black killed somebody else who was black and it's got national, international, ramifications and it's being publicized? It doesn't happen. So the whole thing in itself, it's just tribalism, and it's another reason to be upset that somebody's not there to basically show up the other side, basically to vindicate somebody.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.